Welcome to the channel. I'm Jesse Scott. I'm here with Devin Morrison. We're here to talk about Giants of the North. Stick around to the end to find out what's coming up, but we are going to talk a little bit about what is Giants of the North, our books, and we're just going to go through some questions that people have been asking just to get to know Giants of the North better.
Sounds fantastic. Looking forward to it.
So let's start with something easy.
Sure thing.
Who are you, and what's your role at Giants of the North?
Great. Well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. My name is Devin Morrison. I am one of the co-founders and writers for Giants of the North. We've been doing this for quite a few years and have been able to produce quite a bit of good content that I think most of you have already taken a look at.
Based on that, then, tell everybody what is Giants of the North?
So Giants of the North, we are a group of DMs, players, and overall Dungeons & Dragons lovers over the past many years.
Fanatics, maybe?
Fanatics is probably a better word. Fanatics about Dungeons & Dragons. And a while ago, we were sitting around having some conversations about Dungeons & Dragons, different things that we were doing in different games that we were playing. And we really wanted to be able to help the world in providing some really cool concepts for Dungeons & Dragons to be able to amplify people's games and really get some of that positive, fun, cool things for their games.
Was there a specific moment in a game that just sort of triggered this, or was it over time?
I think a lot of it was over time. Each one of us at Giants of the North, funny enough, hadn't played Dungeons & Dragons together until we started into some of the writing. All of us had played with different groups, from high school and up, so for many years. And I think at one point we were sitting around. There may have been some ale involved or some mead, perhaps. And we started talking about what we thought was cool about moments in Dungeons & Dragons games that we've had.
Awesome. So just thinking about all of the people at Giants of the North, where is most of the team located?
So the majority of the team is located in Canada, where most of us are from Ottawa, which is the capital in Ontario. And we do and have worked with some people in the UK, in the Philippines, and a few other locations across the world as we started to grow, getting in some good writers and some good artists from around the world to be able to contribute to our books.
So Giants of the North is sort of an interesting name. How did you guys come up with the name?
Well, it's a funny story as well. We had to come up with something that was Canadian. And that's where we really wanted to focus, was we wanted to make sure that we had that Canadian element to it, but not blatantly obvious. Like we didn't want to call ourselves, the Canadian Moose or something.
Right.
Something that would really impact that story. So coming up with Giants of the North, we thought of a little alliteration with Wizards.
Some other
large companies, and kind of twisted the words around a little bit just to get enough of that Canadian aspect to our company.
Tell us a little bit about your design philosophy. What are you guys thinking about when you're writing? That sort of thing.
That's a great question. And a lot of our philosophy comes, again, from being cool moments that could impact a game. And I'll bring it back to games that I would play when I was a player in my youth, was so many times the greatest events would take place and it would be a spur of the moment thing that would just pop and it would just get everyone in the table cheering or everyone at the table getting upset or having some kind of emotional impact at the game itself. And that's kind of where we focused. But we really wanted the cool aspect, like the neat, the wow, we've never seen that before, or you can use the rules that way. Those are the kind of things that we really wanted to focus on.
So I want to delve into a couple of the books specifically. So 2 books, Spectacular Shops and Services.
Right.
So it's essentially a treasure trove of different shops and that sort of thing. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yep.
Tell us what your favorite shop out of these 2 books is.
So that's a tough call because these books are really unique in the fact that when we started to write these, we got a group of people together trying to figure out, what could you do with a shop? And oftentimes in the games that we had always played, it was always just walking into a shop, you're buying things off the menu, and you're walking out. When we started writing this book, we really wanted to open people's eyes as to what a shop could be. Sure. A shop is an adventure. A shop could be, a wild NPC behind the table trying to sell you something. And it becomes a game as you move forward, or it becomes an element of that game. So it's a really tough call onto which one I would pick as my favorite. There are a few. One of them was the Helga's haberdashery, which I really enjoyed.
So interesting thing on that, if you look up the meaning of haberdashery, it's actually a clothing store, but they sell no clothing.
Correct, which I thought was actually quite funny, which is why I didn't change it when we found that mistake. And there's also in the first book too. So the Dragon Smoke Inn I thought was very interesting because it doesn't just have the barkeep and those sorts of things. In the basement of this inn are some corrupted automatons that go wild and start attacking things. So it brings a bit of the future element into it without, going too far into the future with some of the stuff. But please, Jesse, tell me, what's your favorite?
Actually, I don't know who came up with this one, but in the second one, Astral Adventure Tours. It's kind of neat. It's like a cruise ship through the astral plane. I like one of the locations you get to visit. It's the skull or the skeleton of a dead god. So that's pretty fun. And you get attacked by pirates, so, pirates.
Unique elements to it like that are just so fun.
Let's talk about the latest book.
Oh, yes.
Xarnon's Codex of Combined Magic. So if somebody hasn't heard what the concept of this book is, can you give us a rundown?
Really simple way to be able to break down Xarnon's. And that is, we really wanted to hit that cool element. And I keep saying that, but in this case, this is exactly where we wanted to hit. And although we don't want to start hitting into some Disney-owned material, but there happens to be this scene where a Viking with a hammer that shoots lightning is fighting another guy who's in armor, and they're having this big battle going through, and then this great superhero with a shield comes up, and suddenly you've got all this interaction between a bolt hitting a shield, hitting lightning, and causing these epic effects. When we sat down and watched that fantastic movie and realized, why can't we do things like that in Dungeons & Dragons? Why can't we have the wizard be able to cast a fireball into, the arms of a beholder that now fires something out, but beholders don't have arms, but that's okay. It's something to do with being able to get those magical elements combined and cool things that happen.
So why do you think this is the must-have book?
For its uniqueness. No one else has done anything like this.
Okay.
And with the amount of artifacts and magical items that are in here as well, it's not just spells that are being combined. We also have different artifacts and different magical items that now also combine to do other things. So very cool way to amplify a game, even in different parts. You get this part here, you get this part there, and like the Rod of 7 Pieces, same idea. It grows as the characters develop.
And there's also greater rituals in here.
Absolutely. So not just the small rituals, I'm going to summon a demon. No. This is going to summon all the demons, or it's going to be able to bring this castle into this town because of those greater rituals.
Okay, so let's talk about magic items a bit.
Great.
Do you have a favorite out of all the books?
So I do. So it's not necessarily the best, but I think it's just one of the funny ones, or one of the ones that if a player has this, there's so much they can do. There's a magical item called the Sponge of Power. And what this does is, instead of creating water and other spells that are out there, this one is super absorbent. So depending on the rarity of this sponge itself, it is able to actually suck up water or other liquids into it and grow. So picture child's sponge toy and it just grows because of how much water it's absorbed. That's the kind of thing that it is. And it comes in different shapes. It comes in unicorn or other shapes as well, horses and moose and that sort of thing.
So tell me a little bit more about extraordinary items. So in this book, you can actually make more magic items, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you have the ability, we put in some rules in here too to be able to talk about making items as you go through. It breaks it down into areas that you can start collecting things. So oftentimes in games, there'll be the ability to find items themselves. But in this case, we actually have everything broken down by the biodome. So if it happens to be a swamp,
right,
these are the kind of things that you can find in the swamps. If it's the plains, we've got stuff that are in the plains. So it talks about how you can then collect those items as you go through and be able to then craft items yourself or have the ability to have someone else craft it for you. We break down also another thing in D&D that isn't used very often here are tools and kits.
Yes.
So we talk a lot about, what can you do with a painter's kit? What can you do with a cobbler's tool? And that sort of thing. So a really interesting way to be able to add that element to a game if you're thinking of doing that. Or if you've got individuals who really want to start looking at different ways to improve their game as well.
Yep. Nice. So you've had several successful Kickstarters. So what does it mean to have that support from the community with the team?
Yeah, so I really think that support has been crucial for our success in the fact that when we create these things, we put our heart, we put our soul, literally blood, sweat, and tears into these books to be able to, drive these things forward. And it's great to get feedback from, our supporters and the individuals who buy our product. They send us comments, they send us ideas, they send us things that we can do to improve things going forward. And it really shows that community building going on between us and those who appreciate our work. And to us, that means the world.
Yeah.
To be able to have that kind of impact.
For sure.
And it really does show in some of the books that we've put through, where an example of that is Yarg's Guide to Puzzles and Traps, where we went through and created this character Yarg. And this character Yarg is a old adventurer who has written this book based on the traps that he has had to go through. And when I say go through, it's literally him talking about friends of his who have perished
in the traps
because of those traps. So it's all done on that perspective, which is really fun to see, is talking about this poor Yarg and all of his friends have died by certain traps. So it gives it kind of a different look on how a trap works from his point of view, which we really enjoyed. And that was someone's idea that we jumped on and wanted to really take a look. And in this particular book, we also had some of our clients and the people who have kickstarted us before, given them the option to give us ideas, and we've put their names as the dead adventurers. So some of these names that you see are actually characters of supporters in the real world.
Community players, characters. Names.
Exactly. And this is the one that I like the most to be able to see.
Nice. So we can't talk about Giants of the North without addressing the AI elephant in the room. So there's this guy.
I'm AI? Me? That explains a lot. Probably why I say and do exactly what you tell me to.
How is Giants of the North using AI?
So AI is a tool. And at Giants of the North, we use this tool to be able to help us to be able to move things forward. You see, Giants of the North, we are a small group of Canadians trying to really make an impact in the big world. And a lot of what we're doing, anything that's in our books, anything that we're planning, anything that we do give to our clients that we sell are all 100% human driven. It's human ideas, it's human actions on the page. Our art is done by humans. All of that is 100% human driven. However,
like you said, literal blood, sweat, and tears go into the book.
Literal blood, sweat, and tears. The amount of paper cuts I've had, we're not even going to go there. So some of this AI element it allows us to free up some of our time to make sure that we do devote as much as we can to those books as a human element. So yes, in some of our blog posts, we end up putting up pictures that are created with AI for a time-saving step. And again, to be able to ensure that we've got all of our quality in our products as we always want.
Plus, it saves us a little bit of money. Video production can be expensive.
Very expensive.
Especially if you want special effects kind of
Like
happening?
this?
Using me, I mean AI, enables the team at Giants of the North to express their imagination in a way that they couldn't before. I mean, look at what's behind me. A small company like Giants of the North can't do stuff like this. Well, now they can.
Awesome. So what's next? So there's content on the blog, but is there anything else going on?
So the content on the blog is a one thing, but everything from here is what is next? What can we do to really amplify people's games? We're looking at a couple of different things to be able to add to a game, such as some kind of movie monsters. So when you think about movies, you think about all the times you've sat down in a theater and seen this very scary thing coming around the screen at you. We wanted to be able to bring that kind of thing into Dungeons & Dragons. So picture yourself going down a corridor and suddenly a xenomorph drops from the ceiling and starts walking you towards
That'd be
you.
scary.
So that's the kind of thing we're looking at. Movie monsters, The Thing, a xenomorph,
Scarier. Yep.
having a predator walk in. So we're starting to develop a book that entails different monsters from our childhood.
Awesome. So if people want to get a copy of the book or follow your work, where should they go?
First and foremost, giantsofthenorth.ca. That's our website. It has all of our collection of books there. You can buy the entire library. We do offer it in both hard copy and in PDF form so that you can choose whatever it is that you want to be able to use to be able to amplify your game to the next level.
Nice. And I think you've got a newsletter. They can sign up for that there also.
We do. Please sign up for that newsletter. We do give a discount as well, which is a great thing to be able to have. And that way you can sign up and get updates on any of our blog posts. We do post quite often new adventures you can add for free to be able to just empower your players and make something even better.
Awesome. And that's a wrap. Thank you, Devin Morrison, for giving us a sneak peek behind the scenes. If you want to level up your next D&D game with amazing content like Xarnon's Codex of Combined Magic, head over to giantsofthenorth.ca.